Welcome back to Musings by Nikki. Oh, again, dare I say, I am not amused. I am not amused today. So, I thought my camera was recording, and apparently it ran out of battery, which it never does because I have an extension cord wrapped around. Anyway, I've got a whole thing so that it can stay plugged in while I'm filming so that it never runs out of battery. But I, for some reason, didn't plug it back in when I put it back up. Oh my gosh. So at the end of my binding our signatures for the hard journal, it stopped. And it took me a long enough time to figure out why. And then I thought I had it plugged in and everything, and no, I didn't. So this is our soft journal. This is our one signature. I didn't want to take it apart because I don't want to miss where I've got my holes punched. So this is the cover that I chose to go with. This one, our soft cover, is kind of, you know, general enough that I can put another single signature journal into their nature journal or something at a later date. So we're going to set that aside. And this is the journal cover that we made that I'm choosing to go with. If you want to see how we made this, it's a couple videos ago, and I've got a playlist for the nature journal. So if you watched my how to bind hardcover journal or video, then what I've done to this point is nothing new or shocking. But instead of binding through this binding paper, right? So we put all of our signatures through the binding paper. Instead of doing that, we just put it through the book cover. So we line our signatures up with the book cover on the top and the bottom, right? Put our binder clips on. I also flipped through and made sure that nothing was going through the fold that wasn't supposed to go through, that my tags were where they needed to be and everything. And now I've got my holes punched. I did say that when you're going through this, when you're going through the signature, because now this is a thicker signature because it's a single signature, and you're going through a book cover that is made with layers of fabric and glue and paper and cardboard. So sometimes it can be real difficult to push down through all those layers. So what you can do is go off the edge of your desk and support this side with your desk. So let me see if I can show you a little bit. So take the edge of your desk like this, and then the awl will go right past the edge of your desk. So just that way this is supporting the top, and then you have more leverage and you can push a little bit more. Sometimes it helps to stand up. Just make sure you don't like ram it through and, you know, make it the biggest hole ever, because you don't want that either. Okay. So that's where I'm at. You could use the template that we made in our last video when we were binding the hardcover book into the signature paper. But the problem with that is now you make your holes and you've got to somehow try to remove these clips to take this out. Or if you plan to just bind right through this and then tear this out, you know, you can do that too. But I just prefer right now with a single signature, you don't have to line these holes up to anything. You're punching through the whole thing right now. So you don't have to worry about, you know, the reason we had a template before is because we need to line these holes up to our signature page and everything. So doing it this way, I just usually go, okay, there's about middle right there. And then I go, okay, there's about 3/4 of an inch in on top, on the bottom. And then I just find the middle-ish between those two. And you can just kind of eyeball it. That's how I do. Again, I do a 5-hole signature or a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. That's just because I like a little bit more security than a 3-hole one. Oh gosh, I forgot to put my camera back. I bet I just wasn't showing you anything. You guys, maybe I just need to, after this video, maybe I just need to, you know, to have some coffee and an apple, something that's going to give me some brain power. Maybe it's like a protein bar. Gall. The struggle's real sometimes. Okay, so now our decision is Do we want our strings hanging out on the inside here? Or do we want them hanging out on the outside? With a single signature, sometimes I have them hanging on the outside and then I can put little danglies on them. Or you can have them in the middle and you don't have to have any dangles. You can just cut them off and have them lie in the crease, which kind of looks cool. Or you can have the danglies hang out the middle of the journal. That's what I'm going to do. So in order to have my strings coming out through the middle of the journal here, I'm going to sew down through here. And I'm going to leave, I cut my string extra long. I said that in the video too, but of course we didn't hear that. I'm going to leave this extra long like this because I want to make sure that I've got plenty of room for a dangle. And then I'm going to tuck this under here as per usual. Oh my gosh, if I can. There. All right. Now I'm going to go back through this one. Also, I'm going to go down through this one. If you're having a hard time pulling your needle through, like say it's really thick or you're just having a hard time, you can use, I'm going to go up through this one, making sure that I don't, can you see what I just did? Kinda. It wants to split the thread there. And I don't want to do that because then you can't tighten it very well. So I want to make sure that I'm not sewing through my thread, I'm sewing next to my thread. I don't want to split my thread at all. So see, that's kind of tough to pull through, and needles and slippery fingers. So if you're having a hard time, you can always get a little like jewelry pliers or something, or I mean a regular plier too, to pull that needle through. Okay, now through the next one. Ooh. I used to think the solution was just to make the holes bigger, but then you end up with these big gaping holes, and I don't like that look. So I'd rather just get a plier. Okay, again, when you're going through the hole where you've already, so you can also use just the push down like this. Once you've got it started, you could push down to try and get it to, push that other thing back up. All right, so when you're sewing through that hole where there's already a thread going through it, then you just got to make sure that you're not splitting the thread. Then that last one doesn't go through a hole, it just goes under this one right here is what I just did. I'm going to take my needle off, rescue this guy, and then I'm going to pull in opposite directions here. Again, the way I know is when I kind of hold it tight like this and flip it over. So this one wants to move a little bit, so we're going to tighten there. Because I tell you what, you can work hard on a beautiful book and you can have the most beautiful signatures and you can have all the most beautiful, work done for this thing. And then you get to the part where you bind it and you don't bind it tight enough. Okay, there, none of them are moving. And the book gets sloppy and pages rip out and it's so sad. So you really want to make sure that your signatures are bound in good and tight, right? But not over tight so you don't rip stuff. But it's pretty hard to rip it when you're going through a cover like this. Okay, so there, we've got long strings down here to deal with later. And we've tied our knot. So we're going to take the clips off. This is the most exciting part always. Because there's our book bound. Look at that. So there's our soft cover book bound. That's our inside cover. Oops, there's our back cover. Right, so now we just have a couple more things to do. We're going to, oh shoot, I forgot I can't have danglies on this one because this glues shut here. I could still have them dangle out the bottom, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I mean by this glues shut. This is a little file folder thing that came with the kit. So I bound it in here open, and now I'm just going to glue up the edges to turn it back into a file folder, and it's going to be like a pocket. I'm just going to leave a little extra room down here at the bottom where I don't glue it shut so that these can hang out the bottom. And there we go. So now you can do this with envelopes. You can do this with all kinds of things in the center of a signature like this. But now we've got a pocket there. So now we can put something fun in there. And that's in the center of the signature now. Fun, huh? And people will be like, how did you even make that be in the center like that? And you'll be like, it's a secret. Or it's not a secret because Nikki just did it on her video, and so have a bunch of other people, and you can go see it. Okay, so now we've got that file folder there. And I can still have my danglies at the bottom. So it's all good. So now the last thing that we need to figure out for this one is a closure, which we'll deal with closures in a separate video. So I think I'm just going to leave this where it is for today, and we'll come back and deal with putting my maker's mark in and just kind of the finishing touches on this closure and stuff. We'll do this one at the same time as we do the hardcover one, but there are a few more steps that we need to do in the hardcover journal binding before we get to the like closure and stuff. We have to glue in the hidden signature on that one and whatnot. So we'll do that, and then I'll be back and we'll readdress this guy when we get to that part. All right. So I hope you are enjoying this series. And if you have any questions about what I did, especially since I made that, blunder of not being able to film the first part, if you're confused by what I did, if you have questions, by all means, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Facebook Messenger, Instagram DMs, leave me a comment below, message me through Etsy, or my email is just literally my channel name at gmail.com, nikkiadigan@gmail.com. So, please, if you have any questions, I will certainly try to answer them as best I can. And if I can't answer it by written response, I'll try to make a video response as well, because I want you guys to feel comfortable doing this or answer any questions, or even if you've bound 100 books, I want to, and you have a question about how I did something specifically, then I want to answer that question for you. So have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night, whatever time it is, on whatever side of this wonderful planet of ours that you live on. And until I see you again next time, take care and God bless, guys. All right. Bye-bye.